welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Monday, but the April Fool's pranks were not played on you and all that fun stuff over there. Hopefully you guys made some money. Markets were, I guess, moving around today overall. There were tons of opportunities. There were some opportunities more on Google, surprisingly enough. So Google made a nice move to the north side. But overall, the market kind of, I guess it did give you opportunities. I shouldn't complain. It did give you opportunities, and there were many trades for. I'm trying to find where my QQQ is right now. I can't find it. Anyways, opportunities were there. Tesla moving around. Tesla most likely will be moving around tomorrow again with that delivery numbers at 9 a.m. coming out for that position. I'm guessing a couple other stocks also come out with their deliveries too, with the same EV basket, such as XPEV, Lucid. They all kind of come out at the same time. But we do know Tesla is tomorrow at 9 a.m. so that one's going to be interesting. Some stocks moving around today after hours with earnings, and also moving around tomorrow most likely in pre-market, so we got that on the watch list. Last but not least, we always have the Magnificent Seven on the watch list, so you guys know how our watch list goes. We'll talk more deeper into each one of those stocks as the show goes on, and then we have a couple of videos over here to wrap off with, and I'll also have some interesting news for you guys. I don't know if I talked about this last night on stream, but there's an interesting ticker out at the moment that is, I might want to buy some shares of this company, because, or not company, of ETF. It looks pretty promising, looks pretty interesting, and I'm excited to talk more about it. So why don't we dive in, start talking about all things today's watch list, all things on today's show, and get the party started. So let me quickly turn off the transitions over here, that way they don't get annoying in our face. And put yourself in the chats. Let me know who's out here today. How did your day go? Put some ones in the chat if you had a good day. Put some twos in the chat if you had a bad day. And put that like button up. Hit that like counter if you want to have an even better day tomorrow. Because if you don't get that like count up, I don't think we're gonna get that good luck tomorrow. So hit that like count, get it above. Usually we get up to what, 20-25 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 30-40 likes today. It'll be awesome to get that number higher. Let's get the party started, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna bring you into the main screen with the watch list right on top of it. Here's the watch list for tomorrow's stocks that announce earnings either after hours, such as PBH and GOEV, one of the small cap, small float position that has been moving around recently. Also had a split recently, and now with their earnings, pretty deep pullback. So we'll talk about that position for some possible trades. Another small cap stock that moved around today, CXAI, with apparently a partnership with Google. Found that news very later on in the day. Had I known about that catalyst, I would have kind of traded in earlier on and possibly looked for some opportunities there, but didn't really trade that stock today, but very interested to see if it kind of gives us some opportunities tomorrow. CXAI with an apparent partnership with Google, so we'll dive deeper into that. Look up on Benzinga as to see exactly what's going on with CXAI over there. WBA earnings day 2 flushed pretty hard to the downside on earnings day 2 over here, making a new 52-week low. So coming into our watch list because of that, the specific reason. Trump, Truth Social Media, DWAC, DJT, however you want to call it, comes out with the catalyst on Monday, which is today, that they are actually in deep losses. They are actually getting beat up over there, and looks like everything Trump touches at the moment is fire, just burns like oil, burns like hot oil. So very careful to see what happens over here with DJT. It made new lows in terms of how volatile and insane it was to the upside. It has come back down into the normal prices now. At least I want to say normal prices in quotes, but looking to see if there could be even more downside coming into DJT. So we're going to keep that one on the watch list, along with RDDT making a new, I guess, IPO low. Ever since its IPO, didn't really get under 45 if you're excluding the 44 pre-market low that it did one day. But today, sorry for the burp. Today it actually managed to go under that 45 low for Reddit. So Reddit coming back into the watch list over here, staying on the watch list, not coming back in, staying on the watch list because of the promised moves it still keeps giving people. Beautiful ATR, just a little spready sometimes, but still tons of opportunities on DJT and on Reddit. Now you guys know Nike, Lulu, and FedEx reported earnings about 2 weeks ago or so now, but they're still giving you possible opportunities going in the future. So that's why I'm keeping them on the watch list, along with Disney's proxy fight and everything that's going on with it. Today I had a little bit of a pullback, tiny pullback, not really anything in the major grand scheme of scale, but a tiny pullback on the day today on Disney. Maybe we see some continuation to the downside from that one, so that one's on the watch list over there. And the stock that I was very hyped up about, the one that I was talking about on the start of the show, DXYZ, standing for Destiny. We'll talk about a little bit deeper on that position once we do get there on the watch list. And then the rest of the watch list just basically repeats itself as it always does. Most likely won't even spend too much time on all these positions. We're waiting for the cryptocurrency basket to really pick up. And I think that will happen around April 19th or so. And I'm saying around April 19th because that's when Bitcoin halving is happening. At least that's the date that Google says Bitcoin halving is on. So if that's the case, I think we're gonna have a little bit of a cool off period, wait till the halving actually happens, and then we might see some blast offs or some rejections coming into play on the cryptocurrency baskets, but always on the watch list in case they start making some type of moves. We did mention the EV basket because Tesla will be reporting their delivery numbers, so I'm expecting XPEB, Li Auto, Lucid also to most likely be delivering their numbers. If not, most likely giving you some sort of a sympathy trade off of Tesla if you're missing out on the Tesla moves. If it's too volatile for you, if it's too crazy for you, you can look for a slower move, a more safer move, I guess you could say, on some of the sympathy trades over here from the Chinese sector, or even on the American sector, such as LCID or RIVN, which I actually might have to put it in my notes over here real quick. Insert one below, RIVN. Grab that RIVN ATR. RIVN ATR is 0.74. Damn, Ribbon's ATR has been dropping like a rock. 0.74 ATR, and now we're kind of ready for it. I might just have to put some levels on the charts later on, but we'll do that when we get there on the charting part. So that's the EV sector over there, and then you have the semiconductors, the AI names, the large cap names, Google, which I think deserves some sort of a priority because it made a monster move to the north side today. Amazon Amazon tried to go up to the north side but rejected pretty hard and pulled back into 180, so I'm not really that excited about Amazon at the moment. But Google stands out right away. Tesla stands out right away too, because as I mentioned, their delivery numbers come out tomorrow. So we're just gonna right off the bat label Google and Tesla as a higher priority, so that way we don't skip over those names when we do get to that part. And most likely all of these names will be colored orange anyways for us, because we most likely want to keep an eye on those positions. So why don't we get the party started over here with stocks that announced earnings today after hours, starting with PVH. If I remember correctly, it should be apparel and footwear. It is. It should be the company that owns... No, that's VF Corp. VF Corp owns Supreme, North Face, and all those other streetwear brands. PVH, is this the one that owns Ralph Lauren? Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, Heritage Brands? I don't think I've heard that before. Okay, so not the one that owns Ralph. Maybe Ralph owns Ralph themselves, actually. But Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, pretty decent names over there. I mean, if you are a F1 fan, you know Mercedes is pretty much all Tommy Hilfiger gear. They pretty much make their gear, their merch, and so on. So Tommy Hilfiger, pretty famous name. Also a famous brand designer and so on. Pretty up there, not as high as I guess you would say like Gucci and all those other brand names, but Tommy Hilfiger pretty up there, and their numbers looks like have come out to the upside according to TradingView. So we did get a beat on EPS, we did get a beat on revenue, but we want to see a little bit more in depth on what exactly happened on PVH. So for that, we're going to pull up our friends at Benzinga, close that chat, and pull up PVH, see what the report looks like. Reported earnings, we know that it beat on earnings, but let's continue reading. Earnings of 3.72 per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of 3.53 by 5.38%, and a 56.3% increase over earnings of 2.38 per share from same period last year. So monster beat, almost 50%, well, not almost, indeed 50% and above beat on EPS from same period last year. Quarterly sales came in at 2.49 billion, which beat the analyst estimates of 2.42 billion by 2.89%. We delivered a strong fourth quarter in fiscal 2023, generating high single-digit direct-to-consumer growth, with growth in both Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger and all regions. We significantly expanded our gross margins, drove strong pricing power, and are beginning to realize the benefits from early build out and our demand-driven supply chain, which allowed us to decrease inventory by 21% to last year, which is much better stock last year, with much better stock freshness to start the new spring season, commented the CEO. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that they were doing this. I was wondering why a lot of the big companies that have, like, you know, storefronts and so on actually do a more print on demand. Maybe you make some items to have in your storefronts, but then have a more print on demand basis that people can order to the store or order to their houses directly, and you would save so much on you know, having overstock and excess inventory. So I guess they're kind of beating that over here and doing that. Not sure how many other big companies do that, actually. So pretty good to see that over here. Decrease in inventory and not really having to hold on to old inventory. That's a pretty good thing for PVH. Outlook, PVH sees first quarter earnings of 2.15 versus 2.59 estimates. So that's a little bit of a miss on estimate over there. Revenue is projected to decrease by approximately 11% year over year. So not a good outlook on PVH. I'm guessing the report probably took the stock down, and PVH shares fell about 20% at the point of the time that the report came out, which was around 4:45 p.m. So it looks like the stock did flush off the outlook, even though the numbers did look so far so good. Everything on the outlook not looking so great. The company sees fiscal year 2024 earnings between $10.75 to $11 versus the estimates of $10.48. However, the full year outlook is on the higher side. Revenue is projected to decrease between 6 to 7% compared to 2023. However, even though they will be EPS for the full year, not sure if they're going to beat revenue for the full year, but revenue is expected to decrease year over year. by 6 to 7%. So another little shaky outlook for the full year, even though they might be EPS. So based on that earnings report, I think we're looking for a downwards move on PVH. I guess you know, Prad, we kind of did read that the stock flushed to the downside about 20%. So you're not an oracle by saying that. But let's see. Let's put some levels down over here as to where the stock could have gone to, and then maybe we could hit the Pradstradamus button, which I feel like I haven't hit in quite some time now. If I do go to the 5-minute chart, you know what? Maybe if I go to the 5-minute chart by closing my eyes, I'm trying to block the upper part of the the screen so I don't see it. I didn't see the chart, and now I go to regular time. Okay, perfect. So we are in the 60-minute time frame. 60-minute time frame. We're not seeing the extended time frame. You guys saw the extended time frame. I didn't. I want to kind of guess where the stock could go to. Now, the thicker white line that you're seeing over here is last week's low. That thicker white line on the upside is last week's high. I think we're below last week's low based on that report. I mean, that report was pretty negative. I think we're somewhere into this double bottom here. If not, then are we all the way back here? Ooh, are we even lower than that? That would suck. That's where... Not the yeah, exactly. That's where the previous earnings anchored VWAP is right now, from that gap low all the way to the south side. So in that case, let's turn on the extended hours, see where we are. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is an insane drop. Jeez. That's a monstrous drop to the downside. We're at $100 almost. Now, this should set up for some sort of a SSR long tomorrow. I mean, looking long on a stock that's been that destroyed will be a little hard. But we are all the way back down to $100. Jesus. Below 100, the only level I see is somewhere into 93 to 95 area. So that doesn't make any sense. Are we going all the way down there? Are we getting below 100 and going all the way into those prices? So we do have that 104 little consolidation here on the daily chart. You can see how it popped up, held this 104 area a little bit, or 105 area a little bit, and then broke out to the upside. Didn't really do too much over there, but then it kind of took off after breaking out of the 105. So I'm expecting that earnings day 3, last earnings day 3 high coming into play as some support. But this is insane. PVH getting destroyed right now. The report was good.
Innocent, the thumbnail looks spam smiling face with tear sucks.
I'm pretty innocent. I'm very innocent. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I sleep on time. I only play video games when my mommy lets me. I eat whatever my mommy packs me for lunch. I say no to weed. 100% say no to weed. I'm a pretty good kid. I'm pretty innocent. I'm pretty innocent. Anyways, thank you for the $2. I appreciate the $2. I love both brands. Read the related news. Lol, AMC. What's going on about AMC? Read the related news. AMC. We got Victoria, SAT, and T8, Swimmer, Doomlord, Ani, all in the chat. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you guys all had a wonderful day. Forever alone with those stats. What are you talking about, Doomlord? Oh, me forever alone with those stats? That's okay. Who needs sex when you can get fucked by the market every day? Right, ladies and gentlemen? This is the attitude of a loser today who got absolutely destroyed because of a keystroke error. Made a silly mistake. And lost Lost pretty much whatever I made on Thursday. So I'm pretty annoyed. But it's okay. It was just a keystroke. It's not like even if we didn't have the keystroke, we would have had a green day anyways, but it wouldn't have been that bad of a red day, right? So pretty annoyed from that one. But yeah, who needs a girlfriend when you get fucked by the market?
Smiling face with tear sucks.
If I just play again, I'm muting that. It did that same thing yesterday. I'm muting that. What's your largest loss ever? Be honest. Think like 5 grand. And that wasn't my mistake either. That was my brokerage's mistake. And I got stuck in a trade because my broker wouldn't let me throw an exit order. And I had to eat a 5 grand loss. That one sucked. That one sucked. Same like PVH right now. PVH, I'm still baffled with PVH. I'm actually not able to create any trade theory for this stock at the moment. Right off the bat though, I mean, that 105 area stands pretty obvious in our face. You can see how it kind of consolidated for 1, 2, 3, 4 days right into that 105 price. You can even use this 6 days into that 105 price before breaking out. We're now right back into that 105 area. So I would expect 105 all the way to even 100. I would not be surprised if the stock goes below 105 all the way to 100 and then bounces off of 100 instead. So be careful. 105 all the way to 100. Kind of watch what happens. If you do get under 100, maybe you can wait till 95 or 93 to come into play. But that would be like what, a 30-40% drop? Is that earnings report really that bad? Is it 46% drop worthy bad of our earnings report? Right now off the 105 would be about 35% of a drop, and we're at 108, we're at 30%. So 30%, that's not that much of a difference, right? So maybe we do go into this areas over here and then find a bounce. And if we do find a bounce, where could the resistances come in? And right off the bat, you saw how that 122.50 and that 122 area on the 5-minute chart was exactly where the previous earnings anchored VWAP is. I don't see the stock going higher than that. If anything, I actually see the anchored VWAP for this one kind of coming down over here into this high, honestly. So I'm expecting that anchored VWAP to kind of end up at 115. And I'm actually forgetting to do one thing, which is, there you go, bang. Put in the anchored VWAP for today's earnings move, and you can see how it's right into this little high. I'm expecting that to come into play right there. That one settles over here, that one settles somewhere over here. The stock either pulls into this area or either pulls into this area, into that 122 like I was expecting it to, and then we see a reject off of this little zone to give us a nice little short entry to join the party. But right now my main trade is looking for that SSR long, looking for a fat bid showing up at 105, or the stock to, you know, clearly burn some stops and show me an opportunity to get long with a very, very tight risk. And using the SSR mechanic, which is a short sale mechanic, because the stock is down more than 10%, you will not be able to short the stock by just taking off the liquidity on the bids. You will have to actually wait on the ask for the stock to go higher and then fill you on the upside to get short. So using that little bit of a mechanic, which will make it harder to short, not impossible, harder to short, I want to use that mechanic to see if I can climb a little bit of a rise over here all the way into, let's say, 117 first, and under 117 we're using that 122 to 122.50 area on PVH. Prad is a scam, bro. Insiders pulled the rug by GME and AMC stocks. You know what, there might be validity to that statement. I think AMC is going to moon. I think GME is going to mow ass, and these short sellers are finally going to learn their lesson. Right. I do want to say though, my internet hasn't dropped a single frame today. Let's go. And we're streaming on Twitter, or should I say, sorry, X, FKA Twitter. And on YouTube at the same time, 0 drop frames. I think yesterday's fault or yesterday's issue was actually because they were digging a little bit under over here in my area. They're putting new internet lines. My area actually hasn't had fiber connection in ever, right? Whereas all other areas in my neighborhood have fiber connections. So they're actually putting down the fiber pipelines and the fiber connections. And because of that, there was quite a bit of a discrepancy, not discrepancy, but problems in internet yesterday and quite a bit days before that. But looks like most of those are solved today. I'm excited to not have any of my streams drop out again. Let's pray to God it stays that way. And welcome to a more stable stream again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a more stable stream. I was pissed off thinking that it was my stream settings, and I kept dropping my quality of the stream over here. So maybe we can actually up the quality of the stream over here back to what it was. Highest quality, medium quality. I want you to go to the best quality, and then we'll kind of give this 5,000 kbps, apply, okay, and then let's hope that ain't shit crashing. Please God, don't crash. All right. Now, let's move on to the second stock. After 25 minutes of pondering how to set up a trade on PVH, we're going to go to most likely the more important stock all day tomorrow. It's going to be a low float, GOEV. GOEV has a recent split, moved around quite a bit. It's one of those small cap stocks. Shares are only 50 million, moves around quite a bit when it does and traps a lot of people. Split happened on the 8th of March, was a reverse split 1 to 23, took it back to the north side, and now with the earnings report, ta-da! Right back to the downside it goes, like the shitter stock it belongs. So we're looking to see if some sort of a trade opportunity shows up, and he pops into last week's low right around $318, or even today's low. We'll be looking to see if some shorts can set up over there. Let me just quickly throw in the earnings anchored VWAP, and looks like that's showing a little bit of a rejection already into $2.70 right now. But I'm going to be looking at last week's low right around 3.15/3.18 area to see how the stock behaves if we do get any pops to short into. But keep in mind, you got to pay for shorts over here on stocks like these most likely, and if you're not used to the small cap game, it's probably better for you to stay away from it. So be careful. GOEV, very it's going to be a harder game to play, but it's going to be a fun game to play if you know exactly what to do. PayX, the next stock on board. This one, we talked about it quite a bit not too long ago, I think last week, but the earnings wasn't coming out. But earnings is coming out today, or sorry, tomorrow pre-market. So very interested to see how the stock sets up. We actually marched right back into last week's high and rejected last week's high over here before the earnings day. Tomorrow pre-market earnings will be fun to see if the stock can go back into this $125 area or higher than that. If it does go above 125, we have another high into this 130 zone. So stock reporting earnings pre-market, we'll kind of just have to wait for pre-market to show us what levels we have to play with, and I'm expecting, you know, upside levels to play with. If we don't get those levels, however, I think we might just have to settle with this area to come into play, because if we do get back all the way down over here, I'm expecting some supports to show up over there, or even down over here at 116. The stock has held a pretty solid range over here for quite a bit for me to think we're gonna get under that, but if we do, that opens up some real room for the downside, at which point we can really play on that downside. So I'm excited for the downside if we can get under here. I'm excited for the upside if we can get in here or above that. So looking to see what PayX does in pre-market for us to have fun with. Are you still working with Trader TV? No sir, I am not. Negative. But I'm glad that you found me. Welcome. I like to blame shit internet on my dank trading too. I wasn't trading from home, Doomlord. I wasn't trading from home, but I was streaming from home, you asshole. You got MACD divergence on, definitely a buyback. Yeah, this is like what was it, SMB Capital? I saw this setup on SMB Capital. They were talking about a scalp setup, but I liked it more to time my entries on some of my stocks, so I actually use it for that purpose. But the scalp setup video that we saw actually had a pretty decent trade idea in there too. But yeah, we're not worried about that right now. The next stock on board, Doomlord was trolling me over here. The next stock on board, CXAI. CXAI, an AI technology company, so on, having a partnership with Google. Look at that volume rise. I mean, 200 million shares on the day today, taking off to the north side like an absolute monster. This is a double, triple top that the stock was previously at, and now we're all the way back into those levels. So very interesting to see how CXAI, I almost said C3AI. I get confused with C3AI and CXAI. They're spelled so similarly, but their tickers are so different. One's just AI and the other one's CXAI. So looking to see how this stock helps us trade tomorrow. Maybe some opportunities right back into today's high near $7, or if we find some support somewhere into today's VWAP right into $5 or so to pull back and find some buying opportunities over there. Very, very interesting stock. Very, very hot sector. Google kind of blasted off with that catalyst too, taking to a new 52-week high over here. Let's go show you the 52-week chart. New 52-week high coming in out of nowhere from left field. So shout out to Google with that I guess power catalyst. You know, Google obviously was struggling with the whole Gemini and everything that they did. That little stunt didn't really work out for them. Then Apple coming in with the teaming up with Gemini to put Gemini in Apple phones, and now Google going in and basically looking to outsource or team up with other companies who kind of have made that leap better, further, and just kind of buy them out, or maybe even partner with them. So CXAI joining the Google suite or joining the partnership, allowing both of these stocks to keep our watches or keep our eyes peeled for them for any trading opportunities. So Google, as I mentioned, the previous 52-week high right into 154. If we do get a pullback into 154 and find some support over there, I think we got some longs, some good long opportunities right back into today's high, right into 156 or so. I think today's high was exactly at 155.74. So I'm just going to put 156 as my resistance, 154 as my support. Let's see if we can pull back into that should be the previous 52-week high. Yes, that should be the previous 52-week high. So if you do pull back into the previous 52-week high all the way into the whole last week's high, you can see how last week's high was somewhat of a rejected on this day, and today we blasted off that. So this whole range over here, I'll be watching for some possible supports on Google on any sort of a pullback, especially if the market looks poopy scoopy tomorrow. CXAI, this is a small cap stock, 13 million flow. Once again, like GOEV, this is an even smaller cap than GOEV. GOEV, at least you have 50 million shares, and it's not gamed as much as CXAI could be gamed, right? So you want to be careful. Their market cap is what, 93 million. Let's round up to 100 million. People have 100 million buying power very easily on these markets, and then they could basically buy up the whole flow, suck up the whole flow, and rug you in 1 second. So you want to be very careful on trades like these. CXAI though, I think with the whole partnership and everything, we might have some shorts off guard, some shorts caught off guard over here, and that could give us some fun to the north side. Let's actually go see what the short float is for the stock. CXAI, are we still on that one? We're on GOEV right now. GOEV short float 20%, and those shorts are actually screaming in the money to the downside right now, and that's what the difference is. Whereas CXAI probably in the 20% short float, 11%, so pretty high, not those 20%, 30%ers, but still pretty decent 11% short flow, and looking for those shorts to get busted as we keep rising to the upside and those stops get hunted. So looking to see if we can join that fun, marking CXAI as a higher priority position on my watch list. We got some comments in the chat. Let's go see what's going on over here. Why am I getting ads during stream? What the fuck? You ain't that important. Blame YouTube, dog. Blame YouTube. Maybe I need to change some of the YouTube settings after I got my eligibility for watch ads or so on. Maybe I need to go check them out. But hey, give me that $3, baby. Give me that. I don't even know how much money YouTube pays for ads, but give me those 2 pennies. Give me those free 2 pennies. I like to blame shit on the internet. We read that already. Are you still reading with? I read that already. Enrique Pozo coming in. Are you looking at NQ2? Yeah, I mean, we usually look at the QQQ ETF. I don't really look at the NASDAQ futures because I don't pay for the NASDAQ futures on TradingView, nor do I actually trade the futures market. But we do look at the QQQ. It helps us set up for some of the big tech stocks such as Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. So I do keep an eye out on the large cap ETFs, QQQ, S&P 500, even the small cap 2000, Russell IWM is just way lower down below the watch list. It can be as much as 5 to 20 per 1K viewers for a live stream. $5 to $20 per 1K viewers. Well, I'm guessing, I don't know what my view count is. I actually don't like to see what my view count is, so I don't behave differently based on the view count. I'm going to guess I have about 11 viewers, maybe less. But I love every single one of you. Thank you for coming out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Thank you for all your love and support for everyone who has hit that so far. All right, continuing with our watch list over here. WBA earnings day 2, big downside move, going right into the downside, creating a new 52-week low today at $19.50, almost triggering SSR, off by 0.09% away from triggering SSR over there. So let's see if the stock can continue breaking to the downside after hitting a new 52-week low, or does it find some support here and run back to the upside, right back into last week's low. So waiting to see how WBA sets up right into this area. The only level that I really care about is that 1950 area. If we're under 1950, there's no long. If we're below 1950, there's only shorts. So waiting to see how that level sets up on WBA. Now for a little bit more volatile, more fun stocks, we have DJT, we have RDDT, both of which have sadly pulled back quite a bit. DJT moving back down over here. Now you can kind of use that investor underground setup, I guess, where anytime the stock pops up, you look for the failed follow through on the upside and get short on the failed follow through, and ride the stock right back down, because they are ringing the alarms. They're singing the songs that the Titanic is sinking. They see the icebergs far ahead, and they're about to crash, sadly. So DJT looks like we're gonna have quite a bit of a volatile move now. First we had a volatile move to the upside. Now we're looking for a volatile move to the downside. So be patient. Look for those trade opportunities. This thick white line over here is last week's low, so we've yet to pull back into last week's low, but I think there's a deeper pullback than that imminent, especially with that catalyst that came out today. I think it was basically saying that they're running red deep, hard deep red, right? So not good news for DJT over there. RDDT finally going under 45 during regular trading hours. We did get under 45, exactly into $44 during pre-market, a specific day. I think it was this day to be exact. And then we today finally cracked 45, but it was almost like a fail break of 45 or a fake break of 45. We break 45 and immediately we run back above 45 to the north side. So I feel like that level is still a little bit valid, not as valid as before, but still a little bit valid. Keeping an eye around that 45 to that 44 area to see if Reddit can give us some long opportunities or some short opportunities through that, and we continue to the downside. I think Reddit also had some sort of a hit piece recently from a short selling report talking about their NSFW Reddit subreddits that I know Doomlord probably visits every single day without fail. I know the type of guy you are, Doomlord. But, those NSFW Reddits need to apparently get cracked down a little bit more, and their finances need to get better somehow. Their ad revenue needs to apparently get better somehow. I mean, this stock damn near makes free money, takes that free money, puts it in Bitcoin, and turns that free money into more money. And people don't like it? I don't understand. But yeah, that's the game of Reddit over here. That's the game of the stock market, right? So clearly they're not being loved. They're getting shoved back down, and we're waiting to see if the love pours back into these positions. Talking about the love being poured back, it is currently getting wiped out from NKE. The way NKE is trading in this box looks like it wants to push into that 52-week low. So you got some sort of a trade on the break of looks like $92 over here. We kind of broke under 92 and got got right back above 92 today. So I'm still waiting to see how Nike resolves in this little consolidation to the downside into the 52-week low, or the consolidation breakout right back into the north side over here on NKE. Kind of the same thing on Lulu, but instead to the downside over here is most likely the resolution, because today we did break under 386, under 385, and we did push into 384. It looks like we are going to resolute all the way back into this 360 area, most likely on Lulu. This is a little bit of a lower volume for a high price stock, which means be ready for a wide spread. It could be $1 off the open. It could be 50 cents during any given time of the day. So be careful if you are trading Lulu. It means don't take breakouts. Wait patiently at the ask if you're shorting it, or wait patiently on the bid if you're shorting it. But chances are you might get filled if you're waiting in the right areas at the right time. So Lululemon, looking for that opportunity to the downside below 385/384 area. FDX looks like it's also resoluting itself right back to the downside. We were expecting that breakout, but that breakout not really setting up at the moment. So no real trade for me on FDX. I don't really want to look for the downside move, but there is that trade. You can look for that gap close under last week's low all the way back into this little consolidation high, this double top high, or right back into the earnings gap close over here into $265. So FDX could give you some sort of a trade on the breakdown under 277.55. So maybe we'll just put down that area, 277.55, and mark it as blue. I don't need to mark it orange, nor do I need to leave it white, but I'll leave it as blue for some minor priority, not major priority for tomorrow. Now here comes the fun stock, baby. Let's get some deep dives into the future. DXYZ. I found out about this stock, I believe, last night after I got off stream, and I was very excited to see what I saw about it. Overall, it's not really a day trade. Maybe not yet, right? Not really a day trade, maybe not yet. This is day one of IPO. Stock went from $8 to $32 and closed at $9. What? Second day, 10 to 17. Third day, 15 to 30. Fourth day, 20 to 30 almost. So something crazy is going on. Now, what even is this position? It is Destiny Tech 100, listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It is a ETF, basically. So if that's an ETF, what is exactly inside this ETF? Very good question, Prad. Let's go to the website. Oh, this is the original colors. Yuck. So this is the, oh, there you go. This is the original website. Oh my God, that is like looking at a flashbang, chat. Jesus. Flashbang. All right. Destiny Tech 100. Public access to private technology companies. Interesting. What type of private companies do you actually own? So let's go find out a little bit more about that. Tech 100. The stock ticker DXYZ, listed on New York Stock Exchange. Management fee of 2.5%, a little expensive. Current portfolio of 23 companies out of a target of 100. So they're not even maximized out of a full 100 yet. They only have 23. Some private, some public companies. So let's go take a look at these 23 companies. And ta-da! SPACEX, Epic Games, OpenAI, half of which, well, not half, 49% of which is owned by Microsoft. Instacart, our recent IPO. Not sure what that is. Discord, which I've been screaming for public all my life. Let's take Discord public, goddammit. And they own about, I don't know exactly how much shares they own, but 1.2% of their portfolio is Discord. OpenAI is almost 4%. Epic Games is exactly 4%. SPACEX is 34.6%. So clearly, this stock is a little revolutionary over here, because we've never had something like this for normal retail people to invest in some of the big major private companies that are running the world, like SpaceX, like Epic Games for the gaming industry, like OpenAI in the AI industry, like Stripe for the banking business transaction industry. So these are some of the big names over here that might be private. I think Stripe might be private. There you go, private. So you're in Stripe is I'm not sure if it's like a Canadian thing or American thing. I'm pretty sure Americans use it too. But most transactions in the world go off of Stripe. You have no way to invest in them. Now you do. So I think this company over here is going to be a little something to keep an eye out for, especially if SpaceX has, let's say, God forbid, because how much I love space. Ani is a testament to that. She can attest to every single time I freaked out about a SpaceX launch or so on. I love their launches. I love their lens, their booster rockets landing and so on. Let's say, God forbid, something bad happens to one of those rockets. That gives you a trade on DXYZ. Let's say something amazing happens on those rockets. That gives you a trade on DXYZ. Epic Games comes out with some monster game like Fortnite again. DXYZ. OpenAI Sora. DXYZ. You actually, or Microsoft too. So you actually have some good potential trading opportunities for the long term, for the swing term. And then the day trade will pick up when we actually get some volume behind this stock. So I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, being able to pick up the stock at $8, I think was a miss. Was a miss. So if it does pull back here, I might just have to mortgage my mom's house and buy as many as I can over here, because you will not have a chance to invest in SpaceX until they go public, most likely, unless you buy these shares. So I'm very interested to see how this stock starts getting activated a little bit in the market, starts getting picked up on the Twitter worlds, on the YouTube worlds, and so on, and everyone starts talking about it. Just know you heard it here first from your boy, TraderPrad. I got you, boys. I got you, ladies and gentlemen. So DXYZ, very interested to see how this stock moves around in the near future. Now, the next few positions we have are all the lame Disney's, Coinbase's, Mara's, Riots. I told you I'm not going to really spend too much time on the Bitcoin market. So I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin at the moment without diving specifically into each Bitcoin stock. Bitcoin stuck at 70K, not really doing too much. Volume dwindling from the market over here slightly. Expecting the volume to start picking back up once the halving actually starts picking up. When is Bitcoin halving? It's set to apparently be on April 19th according to Google, so don't quote me. Blame Google and blame Gemini if that date is wrong, but we're expecting to see some fireworks closer to that date. So you can leave Bitcoin on the shelf till then, until it actually starts doing something, and if it does, we're going to be ready for it. So Bitcoin on the board over there. XPEV, Li Auto, Lucid Motors, Rivian, all of them also on the watch, only because Tesla for a fact is coming out with their delivery numbers tomorrow. So here's Tesla, kind of stuck between last week's low and last week's high, and under last week's low we do have that bottom under right into 170, 168 or so. What is that low? 160 actually. It's exactly a 160. So under last week's low we have that 160 low to keep an eye out for if the delivery numbers are a miss, and a break under 160 meaning the stock is absolutely pooping itself even more. So watching how the stock behaves. Last week low of 169 and that 160.50 area, which was that 52-week low, I guess. No, not really 52-week low. We got a 52-week low at 151. Or 152-ish, 150-ish. So that's the 52-week low. So let's see if we go trigger 52-week low, or do we find some bounce capabilities on Tesla from the delivery numbers and giving some sort of a sympathy trade to its partners in crime, for its brothers and sisters in the EV sector, like the stocks we just mentioned not too long ago. Now we do have the semiconductor stocks such as AMD, Nvidia, which all day give you trades, right? Nvidia with this monster ATR of what is it now? $36. AMD's ATR is $8.48, much higher than Tesla. Tesla's ATR has been going down, which is at 7.49. So waiting to see if Tesla can start climbing back up a little bit over there on that scale. Apple kind of stuck in this 160, 165 area, 170 area. I think Meta had a little bit of a move today, not really, but I know Amazon had a move today, and that got negated really quickly. So Amazon got stuff from that 182. Amazon seems to be having a little bit of an issue over here, but once that gets resoluted and we actually find some buyers after breaking out to the north side, I think that will give us some fun. I think the market needs to wake up for that one too. Microsoft, not really doing anything with this one yet. I think if I want to trade any of the large cap stocks, it's going to be the Googles tomorrow, or the Teslas, or the Apples, because they're just at much cleaner levels and much better setups coming up on those positions. Micron finally making another all-time high over here, so waiting to see if the last week's high pulls back into and find some supports, looking for some longs over there, and another continuation run after that banger earnings report. I mean, Micron's pretty much the hardware provider for AI, along with SMCI, along with Nvidia and Micron, and along with AMD and so on. So very important company for the AI sector, for the chip making sector, for the semiconductor sector, for the data, maybe for the data centers and so on. But pretty good catalyst also for the AI recently, that OpenAI and Microsoft are going to be looking to spending $100 billion to open up a data center with AI specific capabilities and supercomputer known as Stargate, coming out of 2028. So Micron, other AI stocks, Nvidia, AMD, kind of using that as a little bit of a leech to go up to the north side. That being said, Nvidia broke 900 to the downside today, and then got right back above 900, ending the day flat. So Nvidia kind of teetering around last week's low at $891. We just pinged that area and bounced from there. So look out for Nvidia. Continuous plays on these positions every single day. But that's pretty much the stocks that we are mostly interested on. Netflix, Tesla, Google, not Netflix, Nvidia, Tesla, Google, Lulu, Reddit, DJT, Walgreens, CXAI, GOEV, PBH, and then PayX. If it does anything interesting in the pre-market, we'll have some fun with that position too. Now, let's go check out what the economic calendar looks like. Is the economic calendar busy tomorrow? And I think it'd be... Aww. Alright, so looks like it's not that busy. Today's 10 o'clock number did give a little bit of a move. The ISM manufacturer did come out with a little bit of a surprise, right? So that gave a little move on the market. Some volatility on the market triggered off of that and then got nullified right away. But let's see if this 10 o'clock numbers over here with the Jolt's job opening numbers coming out from the February month. See if that moves out. That's at 10 o'clock. The only two-star event we have tomorrow is at 10. We do have Fed members throughout the day. 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12:05 and 1:30 coming out and using their microphone capability. So be careful, because that could hurt your setup or break your make or break your setup. There you go, that's what I was trying to say. That could make or break your setup, so be pretty careful around those time periods. 10 o'clock all the way looks like until 1:30. Maybe that gives us some volatility to trade off of whenever they say something, but you got to be ready to kind of accept your losses when they come, because they said something bad about the market, or they say something bad about the interest rates and so on. So be careful over there with the Fed members coming out on the microphone tomorrow. And that is basically the economic calendar. I want to go check if the IPO calendar is showing us anything for April. It is actually updated, but nothing too big. Small companies over here with the IPO calendar so far. Maybe we'll just have to wait and see for that Discord IPO that I've been praying for so badly. But in the meantime, go check out my link tree. Click that link tree page. Go check out all my social media links right at the top of that page. That's not my link tree. Right at the top of my page, all my social media links. Join my free Discord, absolutely free. We have amazing conversations in there. We have amazing automations for news and alerts and so on, so you don't have to go anywhere. Everything's right there on that one-stop shop server for you, absolutely free. You're already watching me on YouTube, so if you haven't hit that subscribe yet, hit that subscribe subscribe, hit that like. If you're watching me on Twitter, or should I say X, hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe. I'm trying to grow my Twitter at the same, my X at the same time. And check out my link tree, check out my YouTube, my Twitter followers. Come check out my YouTube stream. Everything's over there. I would love you guys to follow me on YouTube also. Discord, Instagram, and TikTok. I thought TikTok was banned. Maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens over there. My affiliate sponsors: Trade Ideas, TraderSync. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off on both of those softwares. And also check out my Benzinga sponsor. Without them, we would not be able to read those amazing earnings reports and disseminate the information that we need to. Also check out my Patreon. You get some additional perks on my Patreon and my Cameo if you want to hire me to do some wacky stuff. Now, for the next part of the stream, where we get to take some break from talking non-stop. I mean, my throat's dry as a motherfucker. Absolutely dry. That water felt so good, chat. That water actually felt good going down the throat. Oh, pause. Never say that again, Pride. But let's go watch. It's movie time. As Think with Bookmap, our good friends over at Think with Bookmap says, it's movie time, and he's the one actually who pointed me out to this channel. So thank you to pointing me out to this channel. We got 2 movies today. I want to watch this video. This one's a 23-minute video, but I want to watch this one right now. This is a more educational one. This one's a more funny one, comedy one. It's about Wall Street bet kids trading and so on. So I can't wait to watch what kind of the degen activities Wall Street bet kids have been doing recently. I've been kind of dislocated from that subreddit for quite a bit. But first, we're gonna start off with understanding a little bit more about swing highs and swing lows from our good friend over here at Jumpstart Trading. Pretty good channel, recently new channel, fairly new channel. Post content, I guess, somewhat irregularly, but I guess when the content comes out, it's banger, because we watched the volume profile one yesterday and that one was pretty damn good. So let's watch this video. But first, I guess let me pause the music for today. Pause music. Thank you, Dieter, for making our awesome intro, our awesome music collection, so we don't get DMCA'd. Dieter, you the man, homie. Where are you in the chat today, Dieter? We miss you. We miss you in the chat.
Highs and lows reveal shifts in buyer and seller aggression. Once you understand how to analyze this information properly, you will find trade setups with better R values, increasing your overall trading expectancy. Today, you're going to learn how to use swings to define opportunity zones, improve your trade management, as well as a tiny trick that will help you to improve your timing when trading market reversals. I learned a long time ago that sometimes it's the small things in your trading that can have the biggest impacts. I promise that every video in this course has been thought through and has its purpose. I want to congratulate you for putting yourself ahead of the rest of the competition by taking it seriously and watching.
Pat yourselves on the back, chat, for watching this with me.
A swing high is simply
because you're actually putting in the work to get better.
Buy a security's price or an indicator during a given time period. Swing highs are created when a high forms that is higher than any other surrounding price action. At the swing high, seller aggression was greater than buyer aggression, illustrated by a reversal in price. Conversely, a swing low is the lowest point of a valley reached by a security's price or an indicator. Swing lows are created when a low forms that is lower than any other surrounding price action. At the swing low, buyer aggression was greater than seller aggression, once again illustrated by a reversal in price. I've seen traders use a wide variety of techniques to determine swing points. As with a lot of things in trading, they often overcomplicate it. Here's a simple yet effective way to determine your swing points. When price is trending up, look for a minimum retracement of 30%, followed by a reversal and a break of the old swing high. Once the old high is broken, you now have a new swing low as seen here. In this next example, price retraced a few candles and then broke.
That's a little arbitrary,
yes,
but I guess you're using Fibonacci over there.
But I want to see a larger retracement. A larger retracement indicates a more significant shift in buyer and seller aggression. Now, I don't think it's necessary to use a Fibonacci retracement tool to verify it's a minimum of 30% retracement. It's not some magic number. We're just using
Yeah,
it
that
as a
was a
rough
little
estimate.
too arbitrary.
Again, we're
But
attempting to
I'm glad that
define
he
where
said
larger
that.
shifts occurred in buyer and seller aggression. Next, when price is trending down, we once again look for a retracement of 30%, followed by a reversal and a break of the old swing low. Once the old low is broken, you have a new swing high as seen here. Now let's look at some examples of how you can use swing analysis to improve your trading. First, one of the most logical ways to determine your stop loss placement with any trading strategy is to place your stop below the most recent swing low when going long or above the most recent swing high when going short. We know the buyers were the aggressor at a swing low and sellers were the aggressor at a swing high. It makes logical sense to place your stop behind these levels as they are likely to be defended in a retracement. Second, you can use swing levels to help improve your patience and find better setups by waiting for higher probability opportunity zones. You will do so by using a longer time frame context chart to find major swing points that you can track on your trigger chart as opportunity zones where you will begin to look for potential setups. For example, on the left here we have a 15-minute context chart and on the right a 1-minute trigger chart. Price sells off and then begins to retrace, followed by another reversal and a break of the swing low forming a new swing high. Price action is forming lower highs and lower lows, which is how we define a downtrend. If you were looking to go short, you could have waited for the swing high to look for an opportunity to do so. In between is where the battle is occurring. And if you get in here, you're most likely going to have to risk too much on the trade in order to get your stop loss to a logical level, such as above the prior swing high. This will result in poor R values and lower expectancy. I'm sure I will be asked, but Adam, what about when it doesn't go all the way back to the swing and then reverses and price continues trending? The simple answer is it's someone else's trade. Later in the course, you will learn some strategies that can be deployed in really strong trends where prior swings are not being tested.
By that he means
Next, I
that
want you to
that
pay
trade's no
attention
longer
and track in
valid.
your analytics
You
once you
take that
begin to sim
loss,
trade whether or not
move
the
on.
prior
It's
swing low
somebody
when
else's
going
trade now.
long or swing high when going short was flushed, meaning price retested the swing and traded through it briefly as seen here.
This means the seller here is way more aggressive and way more prominent than the buyer here. When it does make this pullback and bounce back over here, oftentimes it should break out and go. But if it doesn't break out and go, pulls back, breaks this low, you're most likely going to see a grind sideways or a grind lower back to VWAP 90% of the time. So that's why when that low gets breached or when this high gets breached again, those stops get burnt. You get that little bit of an extra pop above because the stops get burnt. And if the seller here isn't selling back again, kind of fighting this buyer, that's when you see that back and forth between the buyer and the seller or the buyer and the seller. You see that back and forth, back and forth. They burn the stops over here. The buyer comes back. They burn the stops over here. The seller comes back. They just chop everybody in this range. And that point, you just stay away from the stock. It's not the stock to be in. It's not the trade to be in. But when it does, let's say off the open, this sort of a move, pulls back, finds that swing low for you to get into, and then let's say you take the breakout of this high a day or whatever this area is, or maybe you add on this move over here and your stops right over here and that stock takes off, great. But if it doesn't, it comes back, this negates it, your trade's done, your theory's done. Sometimes it does give you a double bottom, triple bottom, and then starts going higher. That gives you an opportunity to kind of get back in that trade and join that party. But more than often, if this area is breached, the pattern is kind of breaking. The patterns are breaking.
You most likely will find that your best trades, ones that are
Doubter's in the
easiest to
house. Yeah,
hold,
we were shouting out to
occur
Doubter
when the
about his
swing was
music.
flushed or sometimes
Doubter
they
with
say
his
pierced.
amazing music. Thank you, Doubter. Welcome,
The
welcome,
reason
Doubter, for the
this
movie
is in
time.
the initial reversal right here, intraday traders begin getting short. Can you guess where a lot of these traders will
Come
place their
back from
stops?
squashing these
Above
nuts.
the swing high.
I'm
On the
joking.
retest, more intraday traders will get short. Typically, when the swing is not flushed,
Hey, I
as
should have
seen
let him
here,
say it instead of
your
me saying
position
it.
will be more difficult to hold. The amount of traders short has increased, and as the move begins to go in their favor, they will all be fighting one another to exit their positions, resulting in a trade that can be more difficult to hold. Whereas when the level is flushed, a lot of the weak hands will get stopped out, making the down move more easy to hold due to it being a cleaner move. The final technique we're going to discuss, I learned 20 years ago from one of my favorite trading books of all time, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator by Edwin Lefebvre.
Yes, sir.
Which was a pen name for the famous trader Jesse Livermore. Livermore says, one of the most helpful things that anybody can learn is to give up trying to catch the last eighth or the first. This quote had a profound impact on my trading career and helped me make a ton of money. In reality, I guess a better way to say it is it saved me a ton of money and a bunch of headaches. When you're looking to play a reversal of a trend, one of the worst things novice traders often do is try to predict the exact point where price is going to turn. They attempt to catch a falling knife. This is a recipe for disaster. In strong trends, you will get crushed. As Livermore states, stop trying to catch the first eighth of the move by waiting for the turn to start prior to looking for your entry. You can use swings to spot a potential shift in a trend by waiting for the prior swing high to break in a downtrend, as seen here, before you begin to look for an entry. Vice versa, in an uptrend, you would wait for the prior swing low to break. Personally, I will look to get in on a retracement once the swing is broken and get my stop loss below the swing low, as seen here. I promise, this small piece of advice will pay huge dividends in your day.
That's pretty good.
With that said,
That's
it's
pretty
time for
good.
you to get some practice.
Shout
by
out
getting
to
some
Baldy
swing.
over here,
I'll see you in
Adam.
the next video.
Adam
Take
killing
care.
it with these videos, and I can't wait to check out his next video. I'm just gonna pull up his channel and be ready for it. Man, Adam has been killing it. 2 back-to-back bangers. Sadly, other videos are all about futures, but any video that we feel like we could get some value out of it, probably this volume analysis next, and this what market moves over here. Baldy coming out with Goldie. I think we're gonna call him that. Nah, he probably will get upset if he finds out I ever called him that. We're gonna call him by his name, which is Adam. Adam has been hitting us with some absolute gold nuggets, chicken nuggets over there, and we thank him for that. And we're gonna continue leeching his content to learn from. Let's watch some other content over here. This one's a little bit more light-hearted content, but more about all the crazy stuff Wall Street Bet kids do. But let's go watch it. Let's just go watch it. Money, 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 money.
Let's take a trip back in time and enjoy some Wall Street Bets trades that deserve to be remembered forever. Which I admit is ironic, because while cleaning up my folders, I found this entire
Oh, these are
script
September-
that I
what?
wrote up
September
and forgot to
2023?
produce before I moved on to other projects. But luckily, there's no such thing as a legendary Wall Street
The
Bets
hell am I
trade,
looking
but
at?
instead,
Oh.
it's time to dust off these tomes and start
Dust
etching these
off the
tales into
tomes, that's what
annals
it
of Wall
is.
Street Bets history, so that these extraordinary trades are never forgotten. Boys and girls, it is my honor to bring you the dankest trades of Throwback Thursday. We're gonna start.
I just took it in while he showed this. He said, boys and girls, there's 0.3% girls, 99.4% male. That's hilarious.
Girl, it is my honor to bring you the dankest trades of
Hey, futures where the money is.
We're
It
gonna
is
start things off
indeed.
with something we typically don't
Big
see
bucks.
on the internet. A woman named Toro Beb. This young woman appears to have done a significant amount
A
of
trading
stressing
girl?
during the 2020 lockdowns, gaining weight uncontrollably fast. But she has since recovered.
Get the
by
thumbnail,
using a
guys.
method of weight loss called diet and exercise. So congratulations to Toro Beb on her strong glow-back game. But this weight loss was only step 1 of her post-lockdown renewal plan. As a part-time social worker, Baby Toro only made about $15,000 a year in take-home pay, leaving her largely impoverished. Further, with the inflation hitting hard, she needed monetary
Inflation hitting
lest her
hard.
destitute condition only get worse. Luckily, through her career as a social worker, Toro Beb was exposed to information on cutting-edge medical testing for the development of new drugs. One in particular caught her attention. A company called Sealos Therapeutics, ticker SEEL, or SEAL, expected
I think
to
I've heard of
complete a
this stock
phase 2
before.
clinical trial on a ketamine-based anti-suicide
I feel like
drug
I've
that is
traded this stock
administered
before.
straight up
Maybe
the
not,
nose
but I've
like
seen it
liquid
move.
cocaine, or ketamine. This exciting drug
Ketamine.
candidate put Seal on the cusp of a major source of fresh revenue. Trading at only $1, dropping stacks into Seal shares was the obvious choice. No doubt, an effective anti-suicide medication would be in high demand, especially among young Gen Z and in Russia and Korea. In mid-September 2023, she slapped down about 16-month salary on cheap shares, just before clinical trial results were due to be released. Surely, Seal would announce outstanding results, sending its
To the
stock soaring
moon,
over the
GME!
moon. On September 21st, Seal announced the exciting news. The drug worked wonderfully, with 0 patients dying during the trial, and better than expected results for at-risk patients. However, there were 2 problems. The first was that a side effect of this anti-suicide drug was twice the placebo rate of suicidal ideation, which is explicitly the opposite of this drug's intended
What the
effect. The second problem was that the company ran out of money
It
to
made
pay
you
its
more
clinical trial
suicidal?
patients, leading to 73 out of 220 subjects quitting the test early. This prevented the study from reaching adequate sample size, invalidating the phase 2 trial, and also indicated the company was so broke that it couldn't even afford to run a clinical study. As a result of the botched trial, Seal stock dipped 75% overnight. Toro Beb's position and a year's salary was ganked. Her mental health was
This is
clearly
why
impacted,
options.
as she was most recently seen writing poetry, a sure sign of internal struggle. But the fight for Seal was not over, and their next anti-Alzheimer's drug worked great on monkeys. However, this got them only as far as presenting a poster at some school science fair, after which point they had to do a 1-to-30 reverse stock split just to remain listed on exchanges. And then the stock cratered back down to $1 anyway. This one, we're gonna call an L. Hang in there, Beb. It's not like you lost a lot of money or anything. Now, let's check out the hottest
15K is quite a bit of money, bro.
2004.
What the hell is
Legendary Wall
that?
Street
George
bets trader
Washington's
Sir
face with
Jackalot stopped
tattoos?
fapping long enough to create Stonk Madness, a free stock-based ladder tournament that mimics the adrenaline-fueled feel of everyone's favorite basketball
What's his name, Sir
contest. Take your
Jaxalot?
shot and put together a
Whoa, what
bracket
the hell is
100%
this?
free. I've got number 2 seeded Coinbase going all the way and
What the
defeating
hell is
14
this?
seeded Crocs in the big game to take
This
home
got
the
my
trophy.
Gamba.
Strong brackets have a lot to look forward to with some killer prizes.
Yeah, right.
With a no-kidding Lambo for a perfect
Yeah,
63
right.
wins. Down to 42 if enough brackets
You
get
gotta
created.
pay to play?
Outside of a perfect bracket, the winner will take home a litany of prizes from $1,000 of McDonald's to a Tesla Model 3. The next top 10 are on deck for AirPods, consoles, and other goodies, while numbers 11 through 20 collect a Wall Street Bets figurine. The more brackets get created, the larger the prize pool gets. With matchups like Coinbase versus
You gotta pay to
Robinhood
play,
and
don't
AMD
you?
versus Nvidia going
How
head-to-head
much?
in the first round.
Take my
Cinderella's are sure
money.
to break some brackets as we strive
So
for
you're
the pretty
gambling
prize of
on
Lamborghini
whose
Huracan. This is
stock
a
does
100%
better?
Free tournament, and you've got nothing to lose.
Free
Let's have some
tournament.
fun at stonkmadness.com. And if you're craving some degeneracy after dark, check out Jackalot's app After Hour with over $200 million of verified positions on the
Oh,
line.
these are
Now,
ads.
let's get back to the Wall Street Bets
I
madness
got
with
baited.
throwback
I thought he
trade
was
number
talking
3.
about legitimate stuff. These are just ads.
In 2019, while wallowing in a Swedish prison for fighting people outside of a burger joint, rapper A$AP Rocky went through self-reflection. He determined, OGs paved the way. I'm just following the blueprint. A$AP Rocky's own
What the hell?
OGs mirrors
WSB
the
OG
those
sub
Wall
is
Street
good.
bets users
MOAS
who have
sub goes
seen
to
the sub
shit.
grow and
Sub
evolve
quality
from its humble
recovering.
origins through its flop phase during the
Because they
stock
killed
era,
the
and finally as
the
it carved its way
moasser.
toward actually being good again. But through it all, the sub's original motif never fully faded. Wall Street Bets is a sub where we seek those huge gains, even at the risk of our options dropping 99.8%
Big
with
gains.
no bid. And no one exemplifies this theme better than user Sylvanas. As a longtime Redditor and Wall Street Bets OG, Sylph
What
spent a lot of
religion
his
do
early,
porn
presumably
stars follow?
teenage years posting about
They're
streamers,
sacrilegious.
jokes, and discussing some video game called Hearthstone, which features the character Sylvanas Windrunner, which is probably where Sylvanas comes from. But our man matured and recognized he was getting no engagement on his jokes, and therefore a future career as a comedian was never meant to be. So instead, he pivoted to something more enticing: Wall Street Bets. In the autumn of 2018,
Welcome home, my fellow DGens.
Which included approximately $3,000 positions on Tesla, Amazon, and Nvidia. These were good stocks to buy when Nvidia was trading for about $65 on a split-adjusted basis, and Tesla at an $18 split-adjusted basis. But the very concept of holding good stocks for years is antithetical to
Also, it's 2018.
Realizing the power of FDs after flipping a $3,000 Amazon put position to $7,000 in 3 days, Self embarked on a half-decade struggle to stack paper through such aggressive means. What follows is a roller coaster from Wall Street hell, in which each gain is canceled by an equally devastating loss. Made money on Facebook, got cooked by the Zuck a week later. Finally have a good year, don't buy shares, just YOLO into more
Cooked
positions
by the
until you
Zuck.
lose it all. Sylph suffers from such an aversion to gains
Oh
that
my
he is
God.
currently unable to take profits, a matter deserving of investigation
How?
by the UN Human Rights Committee on Economic Affairs. Facing
I
these
can't
woes,
look.
Sylph tried exotic methods
I
of trading,
looked.
including inversing himself, i.e. placing the opposite trade of what he thinks is the right move, and then he inversed himself inversing himself.
Inverse
which
the
also-
inverse.
And then he inversed this move, at which point you're not really inversing anything, you're just guessing. These methods were ineffective, and
Oh
in
my
September
God.
2023, our man lamented that he has not made a single good trade in months. Last year, Sylph grieved that he had lost 80 grand by autumn 2023.
Is this
He only had
real?
20K left. If he held his most recently
How
shared
do you
position
blow
until
that much
expiration,
money and still
he'd be
continue
down
to
just
do it?
some dust left over on the bottom of his desecrated portfolio. Since there are no gains to speak of, this 80K loss appears to be all his own money from actually working. Sylph has spent the last several years working for the man, then dumping his salary into options and losing it all.
Giving it
Without
right
fail.
back to the
At no
man.
point do I see any evidence of things like learning from one's mistakes
Oh,
himself.
man.
And for that, I raise a toast to
Now
Seth
he's just
Fox,
roasting
the
and
most
pouring salt in his
habitually
wounds, kicking him while
unsuccessful
he's
trader of this entire
down.
Wall Street Bets era. If that's not OG Wall Street Bets,
If
I don't
you
know
ever
what
make
is.
it to this
Himself,
guy's
I
channel,
recommend the
chat,
ticker
you gotta quit
UOO.
trading.
Just hold it and forget it. You're clearly not cut out for speculative trading. Consider sticking to video games, my dude. Now, let's check out throwback trade number 2.
Like $80,000
Next up at the
burned.
parole board is a really swell character by the name of Interaction Fun 5368. Before his corruption as a Wall Street Bets user, our man joined
Why do
Reddit at the
people
very
hate
end of
critics, hate the
2022 to discuss
848?
movies and video games.
I'm also
like
a big
pretty
fan of the
normal
movie and
guy.
find it to
Likely
be
unfamiliar
underrated.
with Reddit, Fun Man passionately replied to several conversations about the Quentin Tarantino movie Hateful Eight approximately 1 year after the conversations ended. A recent college graduate at the time, the big dog appears to have had better things to do than post on Reddit all day. But young adulthood is a dynamic time in life, and Interaction Fun sought to manifest his rise to prestige. However, the hotshot was too cool for school, declaring college his worst investment in life, almost certainly indicating he was getting a poor ROI on his education, with Visual Mod's warning about college expenses coming in a few years too late. Funny decided that if he wasn't going to get a return on his expensive but worthless
You're
degree,
gonna put that
he would
college
seek
money into
indemnification
trades?
elsewhere.
Uh-oh.
And what better place to make a rush toward generational wealth than the stock market? After gaining a rudimentary
SpaghettiOs.
understanding of options by watching YouTube videos and browsing our favorite sub,
Wait, that's what I
Interaction
do.
Fund performed
Oh,
an
shit.
extensive evaluation of the market environment. He determined that Theta Gang had an edge over the average schmuck and used VIX as a measurement of when to enter positions.
I think the VIX
Wise,
is dead,
calculated
buddy.
approach. However, selling exotic spreads like iron condors is an advanced options method. Despite his best intentions, our man was in over his head and outside his element, as evidenced by his odd and improper use of trading jargon. Nonetheless, the funny guy began his adventure with a respectable $32,000 earned through good old-fashioned labor, putting student loan repayments on the back
Respectable.
burner. Cracking open Robinhood, the recent grad put in his bid for Theta Gang membership by selling puts on DWAC. At the time, DWAC was a highly
Oh, you
volatile
got
Trump-affiliated
smoked.
SPAC that appeared to be bouncing back after a meteoric
Wait,
rise
this is
and
after
cataclysmic
180.
drop.
Yeah, this is
The
after
prospective
180.
parent company of Truth Social was anything but a sure bet, and as such, put premiums were sky high. By selling
Nice.
boatloads of cash-secured puts, the brilliant young man
What'd you
raked in
turn
a
32K
consistent
to what?
$500 to $1,000 per week.
Oh, just by
Once he had
selling
built up
puts.
his cash pile
That's
enough
not
to
bad.
sell puts on, quote, the SPY, our man abandoned DWAC and made the switch to the bigger ticker. But with his bankroll, Interaction Fund only had enough cash to cover one short put at a time.
Uh-oh.
And the gains were much lower than his ambitions
Is he writing
required. To really get that
naked
premium flow,
puts and
he
naked
decided
calls?
to sell $1 wide iron condors. Or as he eloquently put it, I then realized I could do an iron condor and sell credit spreads on calls as well. I sold spreads $1 apart in strike and put up $100 in collateral for each iron condor chain. This poor description is also ambiguous because it's unclear if it's the body of his condor or the wings of his condor that were $1 wide. However, I'm not sure if he'd know what those terms mean anyway. Determined, but beyond his expertise, it was not long before the novice had his ass to the fryer. In mid-December, the enterprising young man was riding his unspecified zero-day to expiration iron condors when SPY took a dump at open. The dip had SPY skating along Funny Boy's short put as the hours ticked by with expiration looming at market close. With the condor in the red, risk of SPY landing between the short and long puts was significant and could leave our trader in a nasty spot. To spare themselves from another Irony Man scenario, Robinhood executed its risk management policy and liquidated Interaction Fund shortly before market close. 9K had evaporated immediately, but the Theta applicant was still in the game. He took note of Robinhood's risk management procedures and jumped right back in with both feet on a tight condor that Wednesday. Our guy got lucky as SPY landed softly in the body of his condor, granting him a massive
I made it back. I'm gonna go.
Return.
I'm the greatest that ever lived.
The 9K loss was clearly just a fluke, and Funny Guy's confidence reached a pinnacle. The following day, the rising star modified his condor by adding put credit spreads only, anticipating a market rise after Tuesday's big dip. He nearly full ported into put credit spreads expiring that Friday, maxing out his account's liquidity for an end-of-the-week Santa Claus rally. But the huge bet aggressively turned against him as SPY began tanking at the opening bell and quickly pierced his credit spread as his account capsized below 25K, putting him at risk of day trading restrictions. Our man dipped into his bank account and topped up another 10 grand. It was all for naught. On Friday, with his spreads just hours from expiration, the market continued to sink, pushing him deeper into the red.
That's like going to the casino. You run out of money at the casino and you go to the ATM to pull more money out because you think you can make it back if you just use this money to make that money back and you can walk out break even.
Already pressing their grisly weight into our man's fragile position. Funny Guy tried desperately to roll his expirations to the following week, even paying a debit where he needed to. But Robinhood struck for the second time, slapping him with a day trading restriction and preventing him from trading further except to close his positions expiring that day, and as he put it, accept the loss of collateral. On Monday, he woke up to blaring red letters on his screen that served him his papers, a $4.4 million margin call. Reality hit hard. Funman thought he was ruined. This is a story we've seen before, with Robinhood telling people they're indebted for life. Those of us in the know are aware that this is just how Robinhood tells you to exercise your long puts and take the 100% loss. It's really not a good way for Robinhood to communicate this, but you're not actually $4.5 million in debt. But Interaction Fund was a novice.
I thought it was legit.
Didn't know this. He spent hours waiting for Robinhood's support to bail him out. Ultimately, he did escape with his skin intact, but his $40,000 bankroll was dissolved. The appropriately named user, Funny Associate, who has since been suspended, leading me to believe that he's actually Interaction Fund in disguise, lamented with our hero's story. According to Funny Associate, Robinhood cheated Interaction Fund out of his money by using unspecified, unethical tactics to turn his profit into a loss. Allegedly, you're not allowed to make money on Robinhood unless you're a hedge fund, and all others will need a lawyer. Interaction Fund strongly agreed with this assessment. I am pretty positive that our guy just made an alt to reinforce his own disillusion.
Just made his own fucking
to add insult to injury.
Post to comment on another
for relationship advice after suspecting that his girlfriend was cheating on him. It turns out that she was actually cheating on her real boyfriend with him. And Funny Guy was
shit, he was a sideman.
Which, I'm gonna be honest, really does not sound quite as bad as the opposite, in my opinion.
You're not right.
However,
you're not wrong.
He does appear truly hurt by this. A year later,
wait, chat, would you rather be the guy that's getting cheated on, or the girl that's getting cheated on, or be the guy or girl that's getting cheated with? Do you want to be the side piece, or would you much rather be the main piece? And which one would hurt more? I think, like he mentioned in the video, being the side piece, you maybe have less time, less connection. And if you find out that, well, most of the time when the person's the other counterpart and they find out, they ask the other person to leave and they still stay with them, or yeah, I would much rather be the person that gets cheated with than get cheated on. But I don't want that to happen at the end of the day.
Shortly after burning his life savings on The Spy, he also lost his job and had to move in with his sister and her 4 preteen kids. After 6 months of suffering this indignity, our man moved back in with his roommates, who kept his rent balance on margin. After another 6 months of scraping by, Funny Guy was finally able to get a decent job and was well on the road to recovery. He says he has slowly and steadily been rebuilding his portfolio for long-term gains, leading us all to think he was talking about an S&P 500 ETF. But he was really talking about Fubo, into which he continuously dumped his entire deposit every single month. As of this writing, he's down another 25%. You're so close, man. Just pick a ticker closer to the end of the alphabet. Now, the moment we've waited for. The top trade of Throwback Thursday.
The top DJ.
According to ChatGPT,
the top G.
In the year 1919, philosopher Mohandas Gandhi started live streaming, and the chat filled up quickly. Gandhi preached, if you continue to relentlessly buy FDs, you deserve to lose your money. Act like an adult and buy shares of undervalued stocks like Warren Buffett and make money consistently. Although the validity of this story has been called into question, no one can doubt Gandhi's wise words. As Wall Street Bets has repeatedly shown us, the exotic financial instruments called shares do most of the heavy lifting in serious portfolios. But does that mean you have to buy and hold indexed ETFs for 40 years so you can die rich? No, no one does that shit. Especially not the hardcore trader with the savage name of Standard Kill Chain. Evidence seems to indicate that our man is a 35-year-old introverted cybersecurity programmer, as indicated by him sharing a guide to some computer nerds.
This guy's a hacker.
Including GitHub, keyboards, and INTJ personality tests. He also wrote a Selenium script to help someone perform a denial of service attack on a conservative Texas group that gets almost no engagement on its articles. The name Standard Kill Chain itself may be a reference to the cyber kill chain for targeting threats in the cyber domain, like ransomware hackers. In any case, the Quiet Killer appears to have joined Reddit at the very end of 2022. In fact, his first post, in which he asked for advice about whiskey, was barely a week after Interaction Fund blew up his account. But unlike some of the more casual types who stumble into Wall Street Bets after months of normal Reddit use, Standard Kill Chain went elbow deep in our beloved sub right off the bat. Not that he had anything particularly novel to add.
Full send.
Happy to be part of the conversation.
Send it.
After all, there's no evidence that this fast-paced, high-risk environment is Kill Chain's typical scene. Instead, he appears to achieve zen as a remarkably avid runner who manages his type 2 diabetes through a strict diet and by running multiple marathons per week. He spends most of his time, and I mean legitimately the majority of his time, galloping past trees and animals in national parks. In fact, his comments seem to indicate that he is a digital nomad, a rising class of people
living
who work
out of
and
his
live
car
on the road. If they do own an actual house, they don't spend much time there. So much so that Kill Chain spent over 9 months living in his Tesla with his dog, coast to coast,
in a
visiting
Tesla
national parks. Doing remote cybersecurity work while living as a gentrified homeless person was fruitful for Mr. Killer. His high-end earnings combined with his minuscule expenses allowed him to extensively invest. He appears to have a penchant for dividend stocks, but somewhere in the forest of a man's heart, there's always the desire to aim big. With a robust portfolio of about $200,000 in December 2022.
Are we roasting social media traders? Yeah, this video is about some of the craziest trades that Wall Street Bets has been seeing recently.
This oddly phrased comment is that if a stock has overwhelmingly negative sentiment on social media, then the bottom is in and it's time to buy. By December 7th, Carvana, ticker CVNA, had suffered a devastating stone-cold stunner. If a stock
goes down 50% in a day, the bottom's in.
About $4, a horrifying 99% loss from its peak at over $360 during the COVID bubble. The stock was priced for bankruptcy, and rumors of its downfall snaked their way into every nook and cranny. But Kill Chain was not convinced by the negative sentiment, and believed the vending machine car company was severely undervalued. Specifically, he identified that although Carvana revenues were down, all of its bad financials were from this presumably one-time, unusual items segment of its expenses. Without that $2.893 billion expense, its $2.894 billion loss on continuing operations would have really only been a loss of $1 million.
So it was a mistake.
Ever. The writing was on the wall. That day, he shared his highly contrarian trade. never bet against bankruptcy Carvana, which is kind of ironic because he explicitly
I mean,
bet
it works.
against a Carvana
He's at
bankruptcy
no,
by
Carvana's
going
at
balls deep into
$95
shares.
now.
Against his buy price of about $4, his $182,000 investment bagged him over 47,000 shares. His Wall Street Bets colleagues mocked him for his botched post title and insane trade. However, the Allfather visual mod agreed with standard kill chain, reinforcing his disposition. By early February, Carvana had already climbed to $14, and that initial investment had self-yeeted to almost 650 grand, an enormous win. But was it enough to sell? No. For the next 4 months, Carvana meandered along as its risk of bankruptcy cooled down. But the real boom came in June, when CEO Ernest Garcia III told bears that his company would demolish Wall Street earnings expectations through its recovering strong business. The bankruptcy move was unofficially off the table. Bears stumbled over each other to get out of their shorts, and Carvana moved to a high of $26.09. Killchain's patience was rewarded, as his shares were now worth over $1.25 million. But was that enough? No. When the chachas on Wall Street Bets discussed buying puts, our man knew the stock had more upside. Retail traders were still too bearish. Tacking on some calls expiring in 2025, Killdozer added serious leverage to his position. He held with iron hands as the stock
Have you
nearly
seen this
doubled
video,
again,
Shark or
putting his
Shaky?
portfolio at $2.5 million. The peasants in the comments section were simply incapable of understanding how such gains could come about without FDs. Some users could not even read the chart as they were unable to identify share positions instead of calls. In light of this enormous gain, our hero shared his trading strategy so that others may copy. His criteria for stock selection centered on finding meme stocks that were down at least 98% with expected bankruptcy.
Everyone on Wall Street Bets says it's worthless.
Everyone on Wall Street Bets says it's dead. Then you buy as many shares as you can. These criteria concerned some users, as they
Highly
believed others would end
regarded.
up buying shares of companies that were already actually bankrupt, and those traders would get stomped out as a result.
Change the
And
G
that's
to a
probably
T
good.
and you guys
But in
know what the
August,
word
the
is.
Big man flexed on the doubters by doing it again. When everyone discussed WeWork going bankrupt, which did indeed happen eventually, the killer put down 137 grand on over 900,000
Oh, he
shares,
did it on WeWork
15
too?
cents each. On that day's dead cat
It
bounce,
works for him.
WeWork nearly doubled on pure speculative momentum to 27 cents. Just in case his 2.5 million wasn't enough, the big man cashed out another 260 grand to his pile. And what did this
Damn.
Chad do with his wealth?
Wait,
He
this
ran
guy's
the most
actually a
dangerous
winner.
route possible at the Grand Canyon that the park rangers specifically tell no one to even attempt. But he did it anyway. Because if you're going to inverse Wall Street Bets, you might as well inverse the park rangers too. It's unclear if Standard Kill Chain sold his Carvana shares, but if he were true to the expiration date on his calls, he's still holding. With Carvana now over $85, his shares would now be worth over $4 million. His calls, another 100 grand. But whether he cashed out earlier or holds to this day, there is no question about it. Standard Kill Chain is a true standard bearer for what our sub aims to be. Your Grace, I humbly offer you the crown
Your
of kings,
Grace.
so that you may be forever recognized as a champion among men. Wear it well.
Hey,
and
he's
take
not a
your
loser.
place
He
on
actually
the throne
did
of
good
Wall
shit.
Street Bets.
He killed it on the trades.
Who wants to be king?
Thank you all for watching, and come join our
Hey,
free
a
Discord,
winner to
link
end the
down
video
below.
with. Okay, that's not bad. I was expecting the guy to give it all his money back and lose all of his money and go to zero. But that was actually pretty decent. Shout out to that video over there. That was a fun one. But yeah, thank you to this guy too, Adam. Adam with the monster video on... what was it again? About swing lows and swing highs. A quick little reminder about swing lows and swing highs and so on. It was a good little video to watch there. But I hope everyone is prepared for tomorrow. We talked about all things ready for tomorrow. The watch list that I'm going to send out an email to my Patreon subscribers. The economic calendar for tomorrow, how the Fed members are going on the microphone all throughout the day. So make sure you're all ready for all that fun stuff. Make sure you're applying risk management throughout your trading. And I can't wait to see you guys all back tomorrow. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. The stream is going to end very soon, and head over to Think with Bookmap stream, and over there I would love for you guys to hit that like and subscribe too. They have been very kind and generous to me by helping my channel grow, so I would love you guys to help them out doing the same thing for me. So make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. Also, if you are a member on my channel, you guys have now new emotes in here, so you can do :Prad. If you do :Prad, oh, it just automatically shows up emote. So you know what colon is. So this is the colon, and if you type in Prad right with the colon, you get to pick from a bunch of emotes. So make sure you use those emotes, have fun with it. I created a bunch of them over there, basically just took my logo and kind of divided it up. What sucks though is YouTube doesn't allow to use channel emotes on other people's channel, because I would love to use those emotes when I'm rating Think with Bookmap. So that kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. TraderPrad out. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.